it's going to be tough to follow. But everything he says is right on point. I'm David Barber. I'm going to give the vending perspective. For those of you who don't know, I work at Herman's Hideaway. I also work at Soil Dove and Brendan's Pub when it was 20th and Barber. It's now the Marquee Theater. Anyway, what I bring to the table is not a lot of booking experience, but I pay the bands at the end of the night. And it's amazing how many of them do not know what deal they agreed to before the gig. It's just astounding. And it's also sometimes interesting to see how the deal changes based on how many people showed up and what kind of a turnout there was. Chuck mentioned the open stages. A lot of clubs, including Herman's, they don't do an open stage, but they do a new band night, basically an audition night. You're not going to get paid, but they'll book almost anybody. We won't do gangster rap, and there's a few other things that we know aren't going to work that we won't book. But pretty much, if you got a band and you're willing to get on stage for 45 minutes, we'll give you a shot. And then we've had bands that went straight from there to headlining because they brought so many people in. And we've also had, the other 90% of them, you don't see them for, some of them they just break up, or you never see them again. And others eventually gradually build up and come back. One point I wanted to make here about being your own booking agent is, I get asked a lot by bands, hey, will you book us? And my answer is, how much did you get paid on your last gig? And what's 10% of that? No, I'm not giving you a booking agent. When you get to the point where you're making so much money that a booking agent can make money off of you, they will approach you. That's when you know you've reached that level of success, because they will smell the money and they'll come after you, and then you gotta just try to figure out which ones are honest and straight, and which ones are just rip-off artists or not good at it. So you're better off doing it yourself, or get a friend or family member to do it for you. It's not rocket science. It's been going on for a long, long time. And the venue I work at, they actually prefer to do booking with a band member rather than a professional booking agent. Sometimes they're, not always, but sometimes they're just easier to deal with. And sometimes they're easier to take advantage of, which is something else you need to be careful of. But I think that's a good introduction, and I'll let Barb go.
All right. I think I'm here tonight more so to play devil's advocate as an agent, and it's going to be really hard to follow David or Chuck. I hope you have a lot more coming up from Havok's perspective. David is right. It's not rocket science to book your own gig. It just takes the patience of Job. And if you haven't got that, and you haven't got the time to invest in it, then an agent can be to your advantage. All an agent can really offer you is time back on a silver platter. We can book the gigs, we can help answer questions, we can intervene when you're given a rubber check, we're not paid at all. Bands that I represented years ago, I basically, like Barb said, you play mother hen. I think Tony said that too. She's den mother to Iron the Brain, and it's you can't separate it. You get kind of sucked into that. We can give bands the heads up on you don't want to play in that venue. That venue will rip you off. I know a venue in town that for the last 12 years has been notorious for writing rubber checks or passing the buck. The manager on duty for that night says, oh, our general manager was supposed to mail that check out to you. Get back to us tomorrow, I'll check with them. And they procrastinate. Next thing you know, 3 weeks later, you still haven't been paid for that gig you did 3 weeks previous.
In the club scene, expect cash on the barrel at the end of the night. Do not take anything else.
Exactly.
Is that right, Chuck? in the first club?
Yes, but no, actually, I take checks for I do.
Yeah.
I took a check last night from
Skylight?
From not Skylight, from Lincoln's.
Lincoln's
Warehouse.
Yeah, I heard you play last night.
Yeah, so I hope it clears.
You say quickly.
May they pay you?
I'll tell you what. In this business, if you rip off one band or something, people talk. You're not going to be. It's going to wreck your reputation. If you ever have a problem, you're better to. If you ever have any kind of problem, you're better to play for free. Okay, you want to guarantee your work. I had a gig once where the bass player didn't show up he was 45 minutes late. It was very awkward. And I told the client, you don't owe us anything. I apologize. I played the gig for free and I paid the other members who were on time out of my pocket. And that's what you want, okay? If you inconvenience somebody, you want to pay them back with interest, okay? You want them to think, wow, that was really cool. They were late, but they played for free. Okay, right on, you know. So that's what you want to do. You want to offer a satisfaction guarantee. As people talk, you know, you don't want people saying bad stuff. So was that?
The only thing years ago I used to be noted for was being able to pull magic rabbits out of the hat. Problem solving and being mediator between management and the band or individual artist playing around was my forte back in the day. I seem to have lost my patience lately for that. I must be getting a little older, a little nastier. But anyway, the internet has totally killed my business. Okay, that's to your advantage. As Chuck has pointed out, if he can book a European tour on Google, you know, there isn't anything you cannot do on the internet nowadays. So for an agent, back in the day when the dinosaurs were around, we could pound the pavement, we could do a face-to-face with the venue, and as David said, not all venues want to deal with agents. You know, they're really doing one of these as soon as you walk through the door and introduce yourself. Depends on your public relations skills and how well you present your bands. And back in the day, like I said, we had a cassette or we had a CD and a promo pack. And yes, Chuck, I have to agree, as a booking agent, I have piles around my office, promo kits, CDs. A lot of them are coming to the combo office this week. You want a loan from the combo to see what your competition's doing, we'll be there this week. So for agents nowadays, we have to take a different tack. We have to be on the internet, like I said, and be one step ahead of the rest of you artists, doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. Or we have to come up with a different game plan. And that's what I'm actually in the process of doing, is just coming up with a totally different game plan. I would rather put together my own events that will showcase all of you as artists. But finding the sponsorship and funding for that is a hurdle I'm feeling right now. So any suggestions, please let me know. That would be guaranteed winning lottery ticket. I'll take that too. So let's hear from your perspective with the local and regional tours.
Well, I mean, my band is currently, we've got management and a booking agent and all that kind of stuff. But before all that kind of stuff happened, we used to do everything ourselves. You know, in the beginning, we would just give our demos to people like bars, coffee shops, youth centers, people who were having a party. We'd give demos to them, hoping that we could jump on their show and whatever. Because when you're first starting out, you basically want to play anywhere you possibly can to get your name out there. And I mean, this kind of isn't related to booking, but for your band, you should have a memorable name or a logo, because without that, nobody's going to remember who the hell you are.